Hello, and welcome back to another episode of We Don't Know What to Watch, the podcast where two guys watch a lot of movies and then talk about them. Of course, thanks to the almighty algorithm. And with me, as always, is the amazing, the incredible, the Dr. Fraser Crane to my Dr. Niles Crane, Kyle Mulford. And I'm Noah Saturn. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm not a real doctor. I just play one on TV. I'm doing good. You can call me Sideshow Mel.
Okay, you can call me Sideshow Bob. No, wait.
Or no, was Fraser? Fraser was Mel, right? Or was he Bob?
Fraser was Bob.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, sorry, I had that wrong. Mel was the other one.
How could you call yourself a Simpsons fan?
Sideshow Bob with the greatest Simpsons gag ever with the rakes.
Yes.
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm also doing pretty well, thank you. So this is one of our mini episodes, sometimes maxi episodes, where we talk about what movies you've been watching. And I think it's Kyle's turn to... No, it's my turn to go first, but we call these What You Watching. Hopefully it's a mini episode. So I only watched a couple movies this time, but I guess I can go into more detail about them. So first, I watched this film on Netflix called Love and Leashes. It is a South Korean rom-com about two people who end up getting in a BDSM relationship due to like a silly thing that happened at work, where basically new guy starts at work and this woman is like kind of interested, kind of not interested in him. And then like he gets a package at work, but basically they have the same initials and the same last name. Yeah, so it's like a very similar name. So she gets a package that's actually meant for him, and they open it up and it's a collar.
Whoops.
So then, like, yeah, after knock. So then it's just kind of exploring just kind of the weirdness and the goofiness of working at this company where she decides to sort of become a dominant to him. So it's kind of fun, flirty, but I'd say there's no real, it's also very, I guess, I mean, I'm not, it seems very respectful, and it seems like they did their research. Because I know some people in that community just really called out against 50 Shades of Grey when that came out, saying how it was unrepresentative.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you want like a rom-com with a little kind of different edge to it, but still really fun and ultimately really sweet, I definitely recommend Love and Leashes on Netflix.
That definitely sounds different.
And next on my list, I went to the old movie house and I saw this film called Thor: Love and Thunder. Maybe you've heard of it.
I may have.
So, yep, this is the fourth Thor film, and it's kind of like, so this is after everything has happened with, the Avengers and Endgame. So now Thor's like, okay, what do I do now? Because he lost his family, and he lost his hammer. So it's really, and this is ultimately a love story, and it's all about sort of him going back and bringing back the character of Jane Foster, played again by Natalie Portman. And this is heavily inspired by at least parts of Jason Aaron's Thor run, because his Thor run was massive. So it kind of combines, if you're interested in comics, it combines the storylines of Jane Foster, the Mighty Thor, with Gore, the God Butcher. I haven't read those stories myself, but I am familiar with them.
I have actually, I've got volumes 1, 2, 3, and 5. I need to grab 4, but I'm in the middle of volume 2 right now. And volume 1 was the entire Gore, the God Butcher storyline, and it was really good. I don't like. However, I'm a little worried about like the translation from page to screen with Gore, because it was a very just Thor versus Gore. And it was a really interesting, because it was like 3 different generations of Thor, like through the time stream. So it was like present day working with his early self, and then himself millennia away as when he's like the king of Asgard, and then working together with him with his own self to defeat Gore. So it's a really cool storyline.
Yep, and so I guess the big question is, do you like Thor Ragnarok?
I do.
Then you'll like this one.
I'm sure that I will have a
tone. Christian Bale plays Gore, and he does a great job. I think he definitely takes because this film knows when to be silly and when to be serious.
Okay, because that's my biggest concern, is I feel like the Gore storyline was in the comics a lot more serious than Taika Waititi likes to be.
But I don't know. Depending on his films, he can be very serious, especially in parts of one of his earlier works. If you've ever seen his movie Boy or Hunt for the Wilder People, they both touch on some pretty dark stuff.
Okay.
So yes, and also then we have Russell Crowe doing a weird accent as Zeus.
Nice.
And yeah, it's definitely highly recommended. And
I don't know if I knew
also,
Russell Crowe was in that.
yeah, Taika Waititi plays back, of course, as Korg, Thor's best friend and rock pal.
I love Korg.
Yes, he's pretty great because he's just very relaxed.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this one eventually.
There's a lot of great jokes, and we even at one point we go to this city. They're just like where all the gods hang out, and we see the god of Korg, the rock people, and behind him is this the Game of Thrones style throne, but instead of like swords being melded into the throne, it's like pairs of scissors because rock beats scissors.
Nice.
It's such a dumb like 2-second background gag, but it's really great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. So I still have some major catching up to do on Marvel, though. So
yep. So I guess
we'll talk about it again in 6 months or so.
Eventually. All right. So that's it for me. Back to you.
Oh, that was a short journey there. And speaking of journeys, my first movie was another family movie night. We watched Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey from 1993.
Yes.
I think this is on Disney Plus.
With the cat, the dog, and Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox, and then the cat is Sally Field.
Nice.
I believe it was Sally Field, yeah. And yeah, so there's 2 dogs and a cat, and the family that owns them drops them off at a relative's because they need to go into San Francisco for a week or a couple weeks or something like that for the new stepdad's job. And the pets think that they're abandoning them, so they escape the farm and they travel and they run into like a giant mountain lion and a waterfall and they have their little adventure and eventually, they're homeward bound. So it's a fun Disney movie. I would say, it's a Disney movie, so they'll make it home. But then we were talking about while we're watching it, and Carrie Ann and I were both going, well, except I don't know if I want to show the kids where the red fern grows or Old Yeller or.
Don't show them Milo and Otis, that's for sure.
I don't know if I remember that one.
That one's about a pug and a cat being friends and going off their farm. But the thing is about that one is just like, we don't know exactly, and there's rumors about it that the animals are very poorly treated on this production.
Oh, okay.
So,
no
bueno. That one might be best to avoid.
All right. Well, Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey from 1993 is not best to avoid. It is a very good family movie. So I would recommend that one.
Do you think that takes place in the same universe as Look Who's Talking?
Look Who's Talking Now with the pets.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all connected.
All connected to the Look Who Talking series, which I haven't thought about in years.
Yeah,
the dark days of John Travolta and Bruce Willis. Anyway, next thing I watched is I rented a DVD of Studio 666, the Foo Fighters movie.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so apparently the Foo Fighters decided they wanted to make a horror movie, and so they make this movie where they play the Foo Fighters, so it's like all 5 or 6 band members. I can't remember how many it was.
Nice.
And they're having trouble coming up with a new album, and so they're like, I need a good place to record this. So their manager, played by Jeff Garlin, the guy from the Goldbergs.
Yep.
The dad from Goldbergs. He finds a house, and that there was a murder there the last time someone tried to record there, and so they find this weird entity in the basement, and Dave Grohl becomes possessed with this thing, and people start dying, and he's trying to make this heavy concept album where like it's just one song that's like it's like 25 minutes long by the time they're done.
Nice.
But it was goofy fun. You could tell it was just like a pet project for the Foo Fighters, and they were just having a good time. Because the direction isn't great, the acting isn't great, but they were having fun, and I kind of had fun watching it because they had fun kills in there. And so there's one scene with where I think it's like on a CD player or a radio or something, the Jackal chainsaw song is playing, nice. And then someone gets killed with a chainsaw. It was kind of fun. But it it's production wise, acting, directing, all that stuff. It's not a great movie, but it's kind of fun. If you're a fan, it's I think it's if you're a fan of Foo Fighters and horror, then check it out. If you're not too big of a fan of either one of those, I'd steer clear of it. But I had a good time watching it.
Great.
And then on DVD, I decided against my better judgment because I just want to watch all the Marvel movies. I watched the 2022 film Morbius with Jared Leto. I, I don't like Jared Leto as a person from all the set stories I've heard, but
Yeah.
I do like him as an actor. I think he's a good actor. So I enjoy watching him, and I actually liked the character and what they did with the character in this. But it's just not a good movie. It's entertaining, but it's not enough. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like Venom and Venom Let There Be Carnage. It's like there's something there, but like it's really missing something. And same thing with this. So it's like Sony is like there with like cool characters in the Marvel universe, but they just don't know how to tell a good story, and they're just not very well written. So and it's
Yeah.
too bad because I thought Jared Leto was good in the part, and I like to see Matt Smith and stuff. Doctor Who, one of the Doctor Who's. He plays the kind of the bad guy, the antagonist in this, and it was a cool concept, and the character was cool because he's like conflicted because he's turning into this vampire, but he doesn't want to kill people, so he's trying to like resist that urge. So it's a good character, and it could make for a really good movie, but I think Sony dropped the ball again. So
I guess, do you like the character in the comics?
I actually haven't read I don't know if I read much in the way of Morbius. And
Yeah, me neither. I know he would show up in Spider-Man every once in a while.
watching the movie, I kind of wanted to read some Morbius comics
Mm-hmm.
because like I said, I liked the character.
You
But
know,
anyway, that's a no recommend unless you're a Marvel completionist.
I guess, it'd be hilarious if they brought him back in Blade and then just killed him
That'd be great.
just like for 2 minutes.
uh, and since the Morbius movie wasn't even that good, they actually bring in Wesley Snipe as a cameo to kill him, and
Nice.
don't even use the Mahershala Ali blade.
Perfect.
So moving on from that mess, I went to my DVD or my Blu-ray collection and watched another Lone Wolf and Cub from 1972, Baby Cart at the River Styx. This is the second movie in the series. I know that you've talked about all six of these, so it's been a while, so I don't know how much you remember these, but
Not a lot. Was this the one with the boat?
no, that is the next one, which I will be talking about soon. This one, it's basically he's still an assassin for hire, and then there's families after him, so he's got to be careful, and lots of Ronin swordplay, and it's fun. In this one, you get to see more of the actual like the things in the baby cart with like the blades coming out of the wheels, and then how he's got like poles in there that he can put together and blades come out of the ends, and so the baby kind of helps with the cart. And again, fun. This was my favorite one so far. I liked this one better than the first one. And then I'll skip ahead to the other one because then I watched also from 1972 Baby Cart to Hades. And this one, he was on a boat for a little while. I'm trying to think of everything that happened. I think this is the one where he runs into a samurai who's now like part of a assassin group, and he wants to die with honor, so he like challenges him to a duel or something like that, and because he knows that Lone Wolf will probably kill him. So, but then he decides not to, and then more swordplay and fun stuff. And again, these are just fun, bloody movies, and some of the kills are great. And
Yep. It's fun because they're short and they're still well made. You can enjoy it for what it is. They're B movies, but they're a good time.
they really are. They're nothing like the Oscar caliber, but yeah, like you said, they're short. They're all like an hour and a half, and so an hour and a half or less, and they just fly by, and it's good bloody fun with with the Ronin slashing people up. So
Yeah. Don't expect Seven Samurai or Yojimbo when you're going into this.
no, just expect fun.
Yeah, exactly.
And then another family movie night. We continued on down. We watched Raiders of the Lost Ark for our podcast while I watched it with the whole family. So we continued on and watched Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom from 1984.
Kalima. Kalima. Kalima.
Yeah, that was the part that I was a little concerned about my oldest kid, because they don't like horror stuff and tense stuff. I was like, I warned them ahead of time. I said, you are going to see a scene where a guy rips a still beating heart out of a man's chest. So I just want to warn you that that's going to happen. But they watched the whole thing, and I think both kids enjoyed this. So this one gets a bad rap as being the worst of the original trilogy. I won't say the worst one. I'll just say the worst of the original trilogy. I like it. And you know what really makes it great? Short Round.
Exactly. Short Round is great. Overall, I think the idea behind it of like Indiana Jones goes to hell is like a really cool idea.
Yeah. Short Round is infinitely quotable in this. Like, and there's one quote that I've always used. Hang on, lady, we going for a ride. And then there's the one I forgot that just cracked me up when we were watching. He no nuts. He's crazy. No, Short Round is great.
Yeah, and of course, it's always worth mentioning that it was great to see him back in action.
Yeah, because he came back for everything
everywhere all at once, and he did such a great job there. I want to see him in more stuff.
I'm happy that he's back, because he was great in Goonies, he was great in Temple of Doom, and I don't know what else he was in. I think he was in a few more movies, and then he just disappeared for a long time. So, but yeah, and then the story of this, I think it's also one of those where people are like, magic rocks, blah blah blah, whatever. What is this? And it was a different kind of god. It was like an Indian god instead of like god. So it didn't bother. That's I don't know. I like this. I like this one. It's fun. There's an awesome minecart chase at the end.
Yeah, it's definitely a big highlight.
Yeah, so that's pretty sweet. And so
my favorite part about this one is the fact that this film created the PG-13 rating.
Yes, because this one was not PG-13, right?
No, it was actually a reaction to this, and probably the heart scene.
It was a reaction to this and one other movie, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can never remember what the actual first PG-13 is.
It was Red Dawn.
Okay. Yeah, because I know it was Raiders and another movie that were like kind of the catalyst for going to PG-13.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Spielberg pushing the boundaries.
Uncle Steve.
So anyway, that's a recommend. Go watch it if you haven't watched it in a while. It's still a good Indiana Jones movie. And then I rented on Blu-ray the 2022 Roland Emmerich film, Moonfall.
Is he back to his old tricks again?
He is, and I'm beginning to think that Roland Emmerich was like a one-hit wonder with Independence Day.
Mm-hmm.
I rented this because I heard the Atmos track was pretty great, and it sounded pretty good on my system.
Nice.
But it's a dumb movie. It's the moon basically has like some sort of AI, like this artificial intelligence, like pushing it out of its orbit, and it's starting to come down to crash into Earth, and it's up to a couple astronauts to save the day, played by Patrick Wilson, guy from Conjuring. That's right?
Patrick Wilson. He's always great.
Yeah, Patrick Wilson. Yeah, I like him in this, and Halle Berry. There's a couple other big name actors in there, but they're the two main astronauts trying to get up and save it. And then there's like this whole weird, the moon is hollow thing, and it's, I don't know.
And then there's a frozen transformer on the moon.
No, but that would have been cool. Might as well have been everything that was going on in this movie. I'm like, I don't even know what's happening anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Moon's crashing into Earth, and gravity's being there's one scene where they're like, the moon's getting closer, and they're driving their cars like the any minute now, gravity's going to go crazy. and then people are using gravity to jump over like chasms. It's like, oh, the gravity's going crazy right now. So if we jump here and then boom, the gravity pushes into where we need to go. And I don't know. It's weird.
I've played Portal. I know how that works.
You played what?
I've played the Portal games. I know how it works.
Nice. So anyway, I don't really recommend that. And then finally on DVD, I didn't watch a lot of streaming this time. I rented a lot of DVDs and Blu-rays from the library.
Nice.
Uh, I watched another 2022 film though. I watched Ambulance from Michael Bay. this is this is Camera Doesn't Stop Moving, the movie. Just
Hey, it's R-rated Michael Bay, which means it's better than PG-13 Michael Bay.
yeah, it's better than the Transformers movies, I'll tell you that.
Hmm.
But my God, and I discussed this with someone else. I said, I remember really loving The Rock when that came out. I'm like, has Michael Bay always been this way with his camera work, or did it get worse as he went along? And I don't remember The Rock correctly. And I'm wondering, maybe the camera was a little less crazy in The Rock. And so I need to revisit that one because,
Yeah.
man, it was so obnoxious in this movie. It just does this, like, there will be drone shots where it's like flying, and then all of a sudden it just cuts away and it's a different drone shot, and then it cuts away and it's here. And then even when two people are standing still talking to each other, the camera's like flying around them and up and down and through them, and close up on faces. And like, I don't think there was a single static shot in this entire 2-hour film.
Nice.
And it was just exhausting. I haven't even talked about what this film was about yet, because the camera work drove me so nuts. It's Jake Gyllenhaal and another actor, I can't remember the guy's name. They are brothers. One of them is one that Jake Gyllenhaal's family, brought into their
Adopted,
home,
yeah.
adopted him when he was younger, and he went off and tried to be on his, do better things. And Jake Gyllenhaal followed in the father's footstep as like a bank robber. And then the other brother, who tried to lead a good life, his wife can't get surgery because it's an experimental surgery for cancer, and the insurance won't cover it, and he doesn't have the money. So he goes to his brother for money, and Jake Gyllenhaal pulls him into a
One
bank.
last job.
One last job, and he pulls him into a bank heist. He goes, "This is the big one. It's like 16 million, or like, no, it was like tens of millions of dollars." And then it all, hey, surprise, surprise, it all goes wrong.
What?
And a bunch of people die, and then you have Jake Gyllenhaal and his brother like steal an ambulance to get out of the scene, and there is a dying cop in the back and a paramedic, and those are the hostages. And it's like, after that, it's like an hour-long car chase scene because it's Michael Bay, and there are cars flipping and exploding. And
Nice.
so like I said, it's better than his recent movies because they've all been Transformer movies, but I think it could have been a little better if he could just sit still with that camera for 2 minutes. The constant movie, just, I couldn't do it. I can't entirely recommend this movie.
Hey, that's okay.
Yep. So I only had a couple that I could actually recommend. The rest were kind of meh to bad. So
Hey, that's okay. They can't all be winners.
I had a little bit of a dud week or two here. So, but that's what I've been watching. Well, hopefully, usually I say hopefully I've given some people ideas of what to watch. Maybe I've given people ideas to what to avoid this time.
Hey, that's okay.
So, but I guess that brings us to a close of this episode. So, where can we find you online, Noah?
You can find me on Twitter at Noah_Saturn. That is spelled SATERN.
And I am at AwesomeKM. And we're on Instagram at We Don't Know What to Watch. You can email us, we don't know what to watch at gmail.com. Like, subscribe, listen, love us, hate us, tell us what you think. Tell us what you've been watching and what you recommend. And until next time, keep watching.
Till next time, it's Morbin time.